Man, people love to bash the Dolphins. Why? Well, once this title screen goes by, I'll tell you why. What's up, fans? So, I was on Twitter, and I noticed that someone tweeted out to Armando Salguero, essentially, what are your thoughts on this? And it's an ESPN article. I got it on my computer so I can read it to you guys. It's an ESPN article that essentially talks about, you know, who's improved, who's this, that, about the offseason, which I did it, but I told you guys I did it, and fun knowing that it will change and perspectives on teams will change because you can't judge a team by paper. So then I noticed another Dolphin YouTuber who's really good, K-Flexin, he also talked about this article. He talked about it in a different way than I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to read each. Well, it's not each, but there's, I think, 3 or 4 of people that said something about the Dolphins. I'm going to read those, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on them. K-Flexin said something, and I just want to address what he said. Again, I'm not bashing K-Flexin. I have no beef with K-Flexin. I think he's an awesome YouTuber. He's another Dolphin fan. We all got to stick together. I just disagree on something he said, and I just want to give my opinion on it. ESPN came out with this thing, NFL insiders predict players with the biggest impact on new teams, right? One of the section says which team declined most this offseason. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 people that had something to say. And of the 8, 1, 2, 3 people picked the Dolphins. Okay. You know, some of the moves the Dolphins made, very drastic, very what the hell-y, right? So I'm gonna read what they said, and if I disagree, I'll give you my rebuttal, and if I agree, I'll give you my rebuttal. Did the Dolphins make the biggest decline this offseason? No. I don't think they made the biggest decline. People are gonna think they make the biggest decline. I'm gonna read why, but I personally don't think so. So, essentially, Schefter said, he picked the Miami Dolphins. He said, their playing is difficult to discern. They've parted ways with most of their best players, right? So we parted ways with most of our best players. From Ndamukong to Jarvis Landry, and added a crew of aging veterans that include tailback Frank Gore, Amendola, Sitton. So essentially, we got rid of a ton of our best players, and he names 2. He goes from Ndamukong to Jarvis Landry. Those are our best players that we got rid of. Other than those 2 players, who are the best players we got rid of that weren't replaced with equal or better players? So he doesn't mention that, right? Then he talks about the fact that we bring in old and aging vets that, like, why are we doing this? These old aging vets, like, they're not going to contribute. Okay. We bring in Frank Gore. Why did we bring in Frank Gore? He's old. You're going to have this 35-year-old starter who's going to, like, be a bag of dust. We have Kenyon Drake starting, and we drafted Colin Ballage. Frank Gore is going to play, and he's going to play well. He played great last season. He played great the season before. So he came in to be a mentor and to run the rock when we needed goal line, all that stuff. So right there, Schefter, you're wrong. Amendola. We bring in Amendola, right? A lot of people say, well, you brought in Amendola to replace Jarvis Landry. No, that was Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson is our slot receiver, our speedy slot receiver. Amendola is the clutch guy that's going to catch the ball on 3rd down and not drop it. So again, what's your point with Amendola? Then we bring in aging guard Josh Sitton. You mean the 4-time Pro Bowler? You mean the guy who has played great and he's going to be our left guard? Okay, he's shit. So the 4 guys we brought in, or the 3 he's talking about, are shit, and it was a stupid decision on the Dolphins. Okay, let's continue reading. Their faith in quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who's returning from an ACL surgery, is risky at best. The Dolphins aren't rebuilding in a functional way, but their roster is not ready to compete for a playoff spot either. That's a major setback. Okay, so essentially he's saying that, you know, and Ryan Tannehill's coming back. He tore his ACL, and he's coming back from ACL surgery, and he's caca and blah, blah, blah. Mind you, Ryan Tannehill did not tear his ACL. he sprained his ACL. And what essentially an ACL sprain is it's a partial tear. He could have played last year if he listened to certain people or didn't listen to certain people and had the surgery. He got the surgery, fortified his knee, he's fine. Will he run like he did when we first had him? I don't know. We'll find out in minicamp and training camp. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I don't know. Do I think they took a huge step back? No. Like, he doesn't even mention Mike Pouncey, but he liked to say it in their best players and named 2. That's what I think of Adam Schefter. Let's go to Sando. I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but he's probably a writer for ESPN. And all he said was they subtracted Sue, Landry, and Pouncey. They appear to be less talented team as a result. So we got rid of Sue, Landry, and Pouncey, and now we suck. Who was on the team last year? Sue, Landry, and Pouncey, right? How was our offensive line last year? It was Kaka with Pouncey on it. Okay. Landry played great. Sue played great. You can't throw Mike Pouncey in the fact that we got rid of him and our team's going to suck more. 2 people are gone that made an impact and could still make an impact on this team. One of them we got rid of because his contract was ridiculous. The other one we got rid of because he wouldn't sign a decent contract. He's getting paid number 1 receiver money. Is he a number 1 receiver, Jarvis Landry? No. He's going to the Browns, getting paid $15 million to be a slot receiver. Josh Gordon is the number 1 receiver over there. Then we have Clay. It's hard not to think of the Chip Kelly era Eagles when we're watching the Dolphins chase culture while moving on from talent such as Jay Ajayi, Sue, Pouncey, Landry, and Michael Thomas over the past several months. Miami is weak or below average at most positions and is suddenly a candidate for first overall pick in next April's draft. Okay, so I'm going to break this one down because this one makes me laugh because he actually went in depth where Schefter didn't, and he talks about the talent that we got rid of. So now we're in this reminds me of Chip Kelly era, okay? Because we're getting rid of great talent, prime talent that has made this team great because we went 11-5 last year, and we were a game away from being in the Super Bowl. So why would we try to have a culture change, right? Why would we try to change things up when last year there was players that didn't want to learn the difficult offense. They didn't want to learn the defense. They weren't picking up their man on defense, so other people had to compensate, leaving other wide receivers open. Why would we want to change the culture on that? Okay, that makes sense to me. While moving on from talent such as Jay Ajayi. We got rid of Jay Ajayi. Oh my God, he was like Barry Sanders. Jesus Christ, Jay Ajayi. You're talking about Jay Ajayi who's now getting sued for wrecking a mansion? Yeah, Jay Ajayi. Oh, you're talking about Jay Ajayi, who after we traded to the Philadelphia Eagles on 70 attempts, ran for 408 yards, 5.8 yards in average, 1 touchdown. You're talking about the Jay Ajayi who had 138 attempts for 465 yards before we traded him. Are you talking about that Jay Ajayi? Or are you talking about the Jay Ajayi who bitched and complained at the Eagles because he wasn't getting enough attempts and also had a hissy fit towards the Eagles? Are you talking about that Jay Ajayi? Or the Jay Ajayi, I said his name like 4,000 times, who was told to sit home when we went to Seattle opening game because he was complaining and not being a team player? You're talking about that Jay Ajayi. Yes, let's please keep a prima donna running back on the team who can't catch the ball if his life depended on it. And let Kenyon Drake get smothered down a little bit more. The guy who can make people miss out of their shoes and can catch the ball out of the backfield. Great analysis, Clay. Let's move on. Sue. Again, Sue is the #1 defensive tackle in the league. His money that we signed him to initially and the contract he was on this year was just too much. It only made sense to let Sue go. Would I have liked to keep him? Sure. Is he the #1 defensive tackle? I just said that. Not for that money. Mike Pouncey. You're talking about the guy who couldn't practice every day. You're talking about the guy who had ridiculous hip injuries that pretty much he's got a deteriorated hip and can't practice every day and probably is going to play another season. You're talking about Mike Pouncey, who's being replaced by Kilgore, who ranked higher than him last year. Okay, so we regressed in center. even though the stats prove differently. Landry is another situation. I've talked about Landry a ton of times. I wanted Landry to stay on the team, but he's getting paid number one wide receiver money. He's not a number one wide receiver. Then they brought up Michael Thomas, who is hands down one of the great special team players we had. But it was time to move on. He wanted more money. He wanted more. So we let him go. We let him test the waters. He got more money with the Giants. The Dolphins watched him, and then they saw the contract the Giants offered him, and they didn't want to match it. So this guy is now, Clay is essentially, he named 5 players that made the Dolphins regress, right? Then he said over the Miami's weaker or below average at most positions. I did a video Monday showing where we regressed in positions and where we got better. So obviously he's wrong. And is suddenly a candidate for the first overall pick. If we get the number 1 overall pick next year, that's because Ryan Tannehill got injured or Ryan Tannehill sucked. If we get the number 1 overall pick next year, Adam Gase will be gone. Adam Greer will be gone. Mike Tannenbaum will be gone. Hopefully Stephen Ross will be gone. Ryan Tannehill will be gone. That's what I think about what they had to say. A little passionate there, because I hate when people spew things and facts and then they don't back it up. And now to K Flexen, who again, I have no beef with K Flexen. I watch his videos because I like his insight, and I think he's entertaining, and I think he's funny. So K Flexen gets like a lot of slack for being a negative Dolphins fan and a negative Dolphins YouTuber. I don't think he is. And he's realistic. He has his opinion on things, and he gives it. If you don't like it, don't watch his videos, you know? But he said that look at everyone's ranking of the Dolphins. You know, it's not just one person. He's like, don't look at, the Miami area rankings, because they obviously inflate their own team. But he's like, look at everyone's rankings, because they have them ranked low. So if they have them ranked low and it's a bunch of other people, they must be right. But I have a rebuttal to that. So before the 2016 season, we had a rookie head coach. I looked up what the Dolphins rankings were before the 2016 season from 4 different places. Just so I can prove a point with, you could be negative and you could be positive, but it doesn't matter until we start playing football. You had ESPN I looked up, NFL.com, CBS, and Bleacher Report. ESPN.com had the Dolphins ranked 26th. NFL.com had them ranked 22nd. So did CBS, and Bleacher Report had them ranked 19th out of all 32 teams. So they had them mid to low, right? And I think all of them had them going like 6-10, 7-9. They all had them, it's a new head coach, he's a quarterback whisperer, hopefully he can do it. We'll see with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill sucked the year before. Can he do what he needs to do? Blah, 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 all that stuff. All of these people ranked the Dolphins low. One of the persons, the Bleacher Report guy who ranked them low, he even listed he said, go back to my preseason and laugh at my rankings because I was dead wrong. And while I was looking at that ranking, and this was right before the playoffs, he had the Dolphins 10. So it makes me laugh that people are looking at what these guys are saying, looking at these rankings and stuff, and taking them to heart, because we were ranked horribly before the 2016 season, and we go 10-6 and make the playoffs. Second place in the division. So you can't look at what other people say. You can't look at anything. Right now, everyone likes to say their team is great. Right now, all of these people are doing is just clickbaiting and essentially trying to get you to read their articles about shit that 99% of them are wrong. But what about the mock draft? No one had Baker Mayfield going 1. It's all speculation. We don't know how a team is or how a team will play until like week 6, week 7. Because look at 2016, the Dolphins went 1-4. Everyone thought they sucked. This team sucks. They're not going anywhere. Then we went 7-1. Ryan Tannehill played lights out. He was ranked top 10 quarterback in that 8-game stretch. This ESPN article saying that the Dolphins regressed the most, it is what it is. The ESPN doesn't, even when the Dolphins tend to do good, I noticed that the ESPN is like, oh, Dolphins are on a 7-game winning streak. That's cool, but they got to play Baltimore and they're going to lose because the Dolphins are only won because of this, or the Dolphins only played shitty teams, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is, people. Enjoy your team. Have faith and hope in your team. That's the whole point of the draft, free agency, offseason, is to watch your team grow and to have faith in your team and to see the things they're doing and being like, oh God, that's a shitty move. We suck. Oh, that's a good move. We're gonna be better. That's just what all teams do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check K Flexin out. He's a great YouTuber. I love his videos. He's funny as hell. Don't think he's a negative fan. He is just that's the type, he is a fan that's realistic. At the end of his video, he even said, I have hope. Because if you don't have hope, you're miserable before the season starts. You gotta have hope on your team. So go check K Flexin out. He's awesome. Be sure to hit the like button. Comment below. Let me know what you think of this article. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Am I too optimistic of a fan? Because a lot of people like to say K Flexin is a negative fan. Am I just too optimistic? Do I not look at the negatives of things? Should I open my eyes more? Let me know. Hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet, because not only will I be doing dolphin things, but I will be doing many other things on this channel. Check out my tweets here, DouglieDoWrong. Don't forget to check out my second channel, Bit Boys. I do it with my best friends, Sammy and Frank. Sammy also has another channel, UTK Productions. Check them out. But other than that, I will see you guys soon. And like always, just have faith in your team. If they do something bad, they do something bad. But we don't know until the season starts. Fins up. But there'll probably be some surprise June 1st cuts, so NFL teams can save that money. And then there'll be their, you know, the cleansing of the rosters in August. So there'll probably be some like switches, just like how the Dolphins got Chad Pennington for the 2008 season.